Natalie Brunell. Natalie, thanks for joining us. I think the timing here is really fishy.
That's right. Hi, Lauren. Thanks for having me.
Of course.
SBF met with and clearly tried to influence a lot of powerful and famous people. And we saw that many of them didn't do their due diligence. They trusted but didn't verify. And, you know, earlier this year, he testified before Congress and he talked about transparency, how important it is. And then now we learned that his operation was anything but transparent. Nobody knew about his political donations and meetings. Nobody knew that he had this honeypot where he commingled everyone's funds and that he was out there with his family purchasing mansions. And so that's the problem with a space that is largely opaque. And I think customers really need to be demanding more transparency in the new year from companies like this one and also from political leaders. It reminds me of that great quote by Robin Williams. Maybe politicians should wear sponsor jackets like NASCAR so we know who owns them. And SBF clearly owned a lot of people.
Not a bad idea. This is moving really fast and it's going to continue to move fast. And then investors and the crypto industry can just get past it.
Well, I think it's a lesson learned. It's really important so that finally people maybe understand the difference between Bitcoin and crypto, which is something we in the space try to educate people on. And I think it will move fast in the sense that SBF has been apologizing publicly. He knows he's guilty. He's afraid of prison, so I think he's going to try to cooperate to reduce any sort of sentence. But he's trying to convince everyone that he's just guilty of bad accounting and mismanagement, which we know isn't true. Right. And his intentions are not going to be on trial here. His actions are. And it makes me think of an analogy that Michael Saylor said. You know, what SBF did is essentially like a 14-year-old who stole his parents' Lamborghini. He knew it was wrong. And then he picked up all of his friends and he realized that the car had like $100,000 of cash in it, a gun and drugs. And he took it on a joyride that ended up with the car totaled. And maybe that wasn't the intention, but it ended up in a disaster. And that was the wreck of a lifetime. So he needs to face consequences because it hurt a lot of people.
I love that analogy. You do differentiate cryptocurrencies versus Bitcoin, but the industry has lost $1 trillion in market value this year. What are your thoughts for next year?
Well, you know, if you like volatility in this year, 2022, I think get ready for more of it. Bitcoin is certainly going to face more headwinds in this macro environment because I think that with the Fed trying to maintain its aggressive stance, raising interest rates, we're going to see they may have to be forced to pivot before they actually want to, because this is all in the face of mounting interest expense and tax receipts falling off a cliff and the deficit ballooning. So I think that they may have to pivot, but until then, liquidity keeps decreasing, and that is obviously a headwind for Bitcoin. I think we're going to see more choppiness, but as you kind of alluded to earlier, this is certainly a buying opportunity for those who are really understand the technology and see it as the future. So I'm going to definitely be buying here and for the next wave up. So yeah, Happy New Year.